Okay, well, welcome everyone to the Club OS monthly webinar. This is the second one of the event of the monthly webinars that Club OS is putting on. This one is on upselling your club's add-on services. And I'm Pamela Kufal, Director of Content for Club Industry, and we're really happy to be partnering with Club OS on these monthly educational opportunities. Before we get started, as many of you may have heard me say, please set your view on speaker view rather than gallery view. Please also make sure you keep yourself on mute and keep your camera off so that just the speakers, the panelists and the moderator are highlighted. And you will have an opportunity at the end to ask questions. So I am very excited to introduce Al Noshirvani, founder of MotionSoft. Al is again going to be moderating this event. So Al, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Thanks, Pam, and thanks Club Industry and the team from Club OS for putting this together. It's exciting to host our second meeting. As a reminder, if everyone wouldn't mind making sure that your microphones are on mute. It looks like everyone's got the red mute sign up. I'd appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about upselling add-on services at your club and some of the tips and tricks that two awesome operators and the folks from Club OS have come up with in terms of how to effectively do that. So from a marketing perspective, what are today's members and prospects looking for with add-on services, and how can we promote and effectively market sort of an entire wellness package to people? It's not just about fitness anymore. And then from a sales perspective, how can teams be incentivized to upsell? Before some of you may have logged or jumped onto the webinar, Kevin McHugh, who's going to introduce himself in a moment, was talking about an enrollment fee that's waived if someone then shows up for their personal health plan or for their wellness or their fit check, which I thought was a remarkable idea. And then from a collaboration, how sales and marketing teams can effectively work together to sell these add-on services, because it truly is a joint effort to sort of promote awareness inside the four walls of your gym. So today I am joined by, as I mentioned, Nick Hahn from Club OS, Dayton McPherson from Health Tracks, and Kevin McHugh from the Atlanta Club. I'm going to pause for a moment and have each of them just talk a little bit about themselves and their organizations. And then we're just going to dive into questions. And as Pam said, definitely leave some time at the end for you guys to ask any questions that you might have. So I'm going to start with you, Dayton, then we'll go to Kevin, and then we'll wrap up with Nick. Dayton, go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you, Al, and thank you, Club Industry, Club OS as well, and our other guest speakers that are here. So my name is Dayton McPherson. I am from Connecticut, and I am the Senior Fitness Director at Health Tracks Fitness and Wellness. We have 16 centers, including my own, that is a studio. So we are actually the first personal training studio that our company has opened. So this is a brand new adventure for us. My basically role for being the Senior Director is I'm in charge of all the personal trainers around the company in terms of education, onboarding. I do a lot of interviews as well for some of our directors. And basically my job is just to provide support for our 16 centers, and then also do general managing of our studio that, like I said, is brand new to me, still kind of learning. We've been open for 10 months now, and every day is just, different, struggles, but new opportunities, and it's been really fun so far. So looking forward to finishing off 2021 with a great couple of last months. So thank you everybody.
Thanks, Dayton.
Yeah.
Kevin?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Kevin McHugh. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at the Atlanta Club in Manasquan and Red Bank, New Jersey. We are very active in IRSA. We're very active in MFA, where our clubs are medically certified, insurance reimbursed. I also serve on the board of the National Health and Fitness Association, as well as the Medical Fitness Association. And so I'm looking forward to sharing some things with everyone on the call, but also hearing your questions too. So I'm glad we'll have some time for that later.
Awesome. And Nick?
Hey, I am Nick Hahn. I run the product and development teams for Club OS. I spend a lot of time talking with customers, listening to our customers. So I'm going to share some of their perspective. That way there's additional context and I'm really excited to have Dayton, Kevin, and of course, Al hosting this. So that's all for today.
Thanks, Nick. So I'm going to start with the operators just to sort of level set. Can you just talk briefly, and maybe Kevin, we can start with you. I have a couple of questions for you, and then I'm going to go to Dayton. But can you just talk a little bit about some of the, I'll call it unique sort of service offerings that you guys have at the Atlantic Club. For example, I know that you've got a seniors only area, you've got a techno gym area, and I'd love to learn a little bit more about what you guys have done along the lines of the medical certification and how that's helped you in your upsell service. And then Dayton, I'll come over to you with some of the tools and tricks that you use to sort of accommodate members and win the upsell battle. But Kevin, why don't you go first?
Sure. When you take a look at the Atlantic Club, that we're about 63% ancillary and 37% membership dues. So we live in a world of ancillary. One of the things that we did, I won't talk about all the other things that outside of medical, but we did add a medical component to our business. We've been involved with medical fitness or preventive care since 2011. We have a site that has registered dietitian offices, medical fitness conference room, and a medical fitness area for people to work out in. So one of the things that we did was we knew that we want to still be very strong in the commercial market, but we also knew that there was 80% of people that aren't in the commercial market that we felt that we could tap into. So we went into the preventive care or medical fitness type of programs for diabetes, for heart care, for exercising with cancer, for Parkinson's. And those programs, as well as the Genovix Healthy Care program, which is that's preventative care where a person may want to lose 20 or 30 pounds, but they're active. They tend to belong to the gym. But then there's that whole other population that are deconditioned. And what we found is that when we did deconditioned programs, and they normally would last for 8 weeks, about 35 to 37% of those people would join the club. These people would never, ever even been on our prospect list. These are people that really did not think fitness was their solution, that a health club was going to be able to do it for them. They gave us a chance. And the best part about it is when they finish that 8-week program, they're so well indoctrinated into the club that they know exactly how to use the club, and their retention levels are very, very strong. Matter of fact, many of our people that came back immediately were people from our medical fitness program after we reopened. So they felt safer than our current members felt because they had such an indoctrination. So that was really a way to get more money in, more individuals into our mix. Once again, you still lose 65% of them that decide not to join, but at the same time, they know who we are. It's an excellent word of mouth, and maybe down the road they'll join the club. So that's one of the things that we did there, Al.
I'm going to come back to the medical certification, but I'm sure people would like to hear a little bit more about that. But Dayton, you want to talk a little bit about your services and what sort of offerings you have at your location and at the other Health Tracks locations?
Sure, absolutely. So, we'll jump back into talking about the medical aspect of it after when Al, you jump in, because I feel like Kevin, you said a great word in there, deconditioned. And for us, that's one of the big things that we really try to focus on as well as our medical program that we do, the prep program, the readiness program that we get from physicians to have everybody come in. That's an 8-week program as well. And for us, it's really great to have touch points. So they meet with our personal trainers. They are required to go to group exercise classes, go through also swim lessons and things like that. So they're really getting a lot of different touch points. So the big things that have helped out with us is our trainer assisted circuit that we have that's in our facility, in which they get to have somebody set up the circuit for them, much like some of those larger clubs, but it gets those deconditioned people that would feel, a little uneasy about going into a facility and exercising. And that's just a little bit of an upcharge every single month. It's anywhere between $5 or $10, but we see probably 60 to 100 people use it every single day, which is great for a couple of hours. Also, our nutrition programs that we do are fantastic. We have licensed dietitians and also nutritionists that are on staff at most of our centers. And the big one that has been, for us at least, is swim lessons. In a lot of our different clubs, we have swim lessons for adults and then also for kids. And that is probably one of our largest ones that we offer, is a swim program. So for us at most of our facilities, I would say it's that trainer assisted circuit, the nutrition program, and then also the swim lessons. And we can talk about the medical prep program a little bit more later on too.
So one follow-up question on what you said, Dayton. Do you guys include some of these services as part of membership? You said that the small group circuit was a $5 or $10 upcharge, so that becomes sort of a recurring model. All right.
Yep. So with their membership, we have different tiers, and almost like a la carte that you can pick. You can have that assisted circuit. You can also get hydro massage added to it as well for an extra $10 a month, which is also very popular. You could get an add-on service for group training, small group training. So it's really like people pick and choose the things that they want. So our membership can range between $0 a month getting insurance reimbursed all the way up to, anywhere between 60 and 99, depending on the services that you can select from.
Awesome, thanks. So Nick, I'll come over to you. You obviously work with, and Club OS works with thousands of clubs across the world. Can you talk a little bit about some of the tools that you have in your software that sort of facilitate the upsell process? I know you have some automatic triggering tools that'll send out automatic notifications, but what are some of the things that you guys do?
Yeah, I think it's there's a couple aspects there, not just triggering the upsell, but making sure you're speaking to the right member who has the right interest, right? So not all of your members are going to be interested in one of those upsells. You want to find the right ones that are, and once you find those, you want to have specific communication that goes out to just them, whether it be text or phone calls via your sales staff. So that's where ClubOS helps provide that functionality, and of course the analytics and data on top of it to see how the conversion rates are working.
Got it. Excellent. Kevin, I'm going to go back to the medical certification. What was involved in getting that certification? Who does an organization reach out to? And have you been able to correlate any increases in revenue directly attributed to that program?
Well, Al, being a commercial club and getting into the medical realm, we had to do a little bit more to prove our safety to the medical community. So by joining MFA, we didn't want to just be an MFA club. We wanted to be an MFA club that was certified. And only 44 to 48 clubs are certified right now in the whole world. So it's a major accomplishment, but there's 209 points of excellence that were on our test, the 2 times we got recertified. And on that 209, it covers every single thing that you could possibly do, running an efficient operation, a safe operation. It talks about outcomes, what kind of programs that you have that drove outcomes, what kind of safety qualifications do you have for all of your staff. It was an ISO 9000 type of program, but when the site visitors came, they didn't talk to me, they didn't talk to the management team, they talked to the staff. They need to know what are the values of the corporation. Did all the staff know the values of the corporation? They know the history of the corporation. Did they know why they use certain products versus other products? And so it was a great team building experience. We had at the time 750 employees that were going through it, and we got certified in both locations. And like I said, we did that twice. Once we had that medical certification, it allowed us to open up and get our medical advisory board, because without that, we were just a commercial club looking for doctors. So the fact that it proved that we were not only a medical fitness association club, but we were a medical fitness certified facility, and the largest medical fitness certified facility in the country is the Atlanta Club, which when you're talking about hospital-based clubs, when you're talking about the other medical clubs, that was for Pat Laws, that was a really important thing for us to have. And, with their vision, we were able to do that. And so, so I think it was excellent. Like I said, we have pre-COVID, we had 207 doctors referring into us. And so when people talk about they can't get referrals in from the medical community, it's because if you don't have, you should not ask a doctor to refer your health club. You should refer a doctor to refer into a program that they feel is going to get their patient results. And you have to prove those results. You have to show those results and communicate those results. So it's a process. We learned a great deal by going through it. And it allowed us to, once we got the certification, it gave us a lot of access to the medical community to be wanting to be part. So we've now had 5 different panels, and we'll be opening up our new panel in October, and we'll be having a dinner for them. And we have some exciting new things that we're looking to add to them too. So
the doctors are actually referring non-member patients, or presumably member patients as well, over to your facilities, and those people are coming in and buying services from you.
They're buying the program, yeah.
Buying the program.
But it's 99.9% non-members.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Dayton, you guys are associated and run some medical fitness centers, correct? HealthTracks does.
Yeah, so
you've been doing this for some time.
Yep. HealthTracks is typically located and paired with some sort of medical building, whether it be cardiology, whether it be physical therapy. We actually have 2 of our facilities that have HealthTracks physical therapy offices now. So we're actually partnered with ourselves, which is really nice. So we're able to get referrals in from those people. But similar to Kevin, we have a program that's referred to as the PrEP program, the physician referred exercise program, national program that we use that is 8 weeks long. Similarly, we have doctors referring mostly non-members to us. And I think that Kevin was right that you have to show results to these doctors in order for them to want to refer people to you. So we keep track of everything with using fat analysis, our in-body machine that we use to track their weight, skeletal muscle mass, bone density, things like that. We want them to get checked as well. So when they come in, we do a baseline. We do 2 weeks out, 4 weeks out, 6 weeks out, 8 weeks out. They're also meeting with personal trainers. They're meeting with our nutritionists as well. And from there, when they get done and they see the results that they really like, most likely than not, and I don't know if you feel the same way, Kevin, they continue to buy services after that, whether it be personal training, more nutrition courses, they join the gym, whatever that it might be. So once they get those touch points with many team members, I feel as though they're more likely to stay because they're more part of that environment and community with everybody. They know more people's names, we know their name, and they just feel comfortable. And like Kevin said before, those deconditioned people that typically wouldn't walk into a gym, now they're coming in and they feel welcomed. Thinking about people that are like my grandmother's age that necessarily might not feel comfortable going into a gym the first time. If they had someone walking them through each individual piece, they would probably feel a little bit more comfortable and stay.
That's interesting. So Nick, I don't want to put you on the spot, and I know we're going to be following up with the folks that are on the webinar with some materials, including access to the Facebook page, the ClubOS marketing Facebook group, rather, as well as sales scripts for selling personal training at your club, which is an ebook that ClubOS has put together. But do you have any sense as to how much lifetime value or member life in terms of months on average increases when someone is engaged in what I'll call non-dues services versus a member who's only paying dues and comes into the club? Can you quantify that for us?
No, we've been trying to quantify that, but it varies significantly. And what we found across our customer base is that the pattern that people are using in order to retain engagement vary so much that there's not a correlation. I think having a great PT program versus having a great physician referral program are going to lead to 2 very different results, that you really want to be offering multiple different avenues to have that retention, not just a single one.
But inevitably, any type of add-on service like this does in fact increase member life by some.
Yeah, absolutely. Any way to make a member feel like part of the team, feel like part of the community is absolutely going to increase that member life. You never want to be the thing that they just see on their credit card statement monthly. That's not a way to retain them. You want to be the thing that's actively part of their life, part of their routine. You want them to be building their schedule around going to your classes.
Yeah, makes sense. So we talked a little bit about medical, but how about some tips with regard to how to operationalize sort of this member experience? So Kevin, before the call started, we talked about your member experience program, which is something that came about really post-COVID, right? It was sort of an exercise to reduce staffing and increase member communication sort of simultaneously, which is hard to do. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, once we were closed down and we knew that we weren't reopening, in the near future, we had to stay in contact with our members. And so what we did was we put together teams of people that were going to communicate to people from a social marketing component. We also did things from a telephone, from a customer service component. And remember, Al, we weren't open till October, so a lot of our staff didn't come back till late September. So we brought in New Jersey, being ancillary, like I said, 7% of our business. We were open for tennis. We were open for the spa. We were open for the school. We were open for camp. But the only thing we weren't open for was the club and the personal training and the cafe and the shop. So we had a limited staff there. But what we felt was that we had to stay in contact with everybody. And what we did actually, Al, in January of this past year, we were calling, when we got everybody back on board, we were calling all of our members back in October, November, and December that were on freeze. And we emailed them, but we called them. And what we wanted to make sure is that if they weren't going to come back, it was fine. We terminated 3,000 members on January 1st. But we know who they are. We stay in contact with them. We have all of our communication still goes to them, but we said to them, we know that this may not be the right time to come back. We don't want you to be on freeze. We don't want you to be hanging on. Come back when you're ready to come back. But we needed to know really where we stood. So we terminated everyone's membership, and then we said to them, when you're ready to come back, we have a new membership for you. And it goes back to our ancillary focus. And we changed our membership to be very simple. Join for $125. And you can add on suspensions, or you can add on nursery, or you can add on hydro massage, or you could add on this spa. And from that, we have a much simpler campaign. And our spa membership and club membership it's 3 times the size as it was before COVID.
Wow.
So I think simplifying the model, keeping in contact, people want to hear familiar voices. They want to email familiar names, and you got to keep the personal touch.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. So Dayton, a question for you. We've all inevitably heard over the course of the last year that people who have pre-existing conditions, who have diabetes, are morbidly obese, et cetera, the list goes on and on, are more likely to not just get sick, but also die. Have you guys modified your messaging at all when you're out selling? Like, do you focus on that message at all? Is it too soon?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so we definitely do. One of the things that we did when we were first calling our members to come back, and similar to Kevin and his clubs, we were telling people, hey, if you're not ready to come back, that's fine. Like, we just want to know, we want to keep in contact with you. We started a program called the Safe Start. And basically what it was a half an hour tour that we brought members in who used to be old members, and we would just show them around and show them all the things that we had changed in the clubs to make them safer. So that was number one. Half an hour, just what questions do you have? A lot of things about mask requirements, circulation and the air vents, all that good stuff, like signing up for classes, which we had never done before. And now we only have 15 people in a class as opposed to 30. But one of the things that we really focused on was medicine basically is exercise, or exercise is medicine. Okay. So how can we get people in here to understand that, this was before, vaccines were readily available for people 30, 40, and 50. Coming in and exercising is your best bet to making sure that you can be safe and healthy in the meantime, sitting down at your house and eating a ton. And how many people came back to clubs and said, I gained 20 or 30 pounds when they were away sitting down for COVID. And it's like, okay, that's really tough to hear. So come back and we can fix that. In our studio, it's really easy because, we only have 10 people in there at a time, maybe, but our larger clubs and facilities, a lot of people were nervous about coming back and being right next to someone. So if we can get that message across to them that exercising is going to be your vaccine for right now until you can come in and get healthier, I feel like a lot of people understood that. And if we could just get them into the club and walk through those doors and see how safe it actually was, we, made out really well with getting people to either sign up for new memberships or returning members as well, because they saw our facilities. And, my team members are fantastic about cleaning and making sure that everything is picked up. And, they took that on themselves to make sure that they had jobs in the future and make sure that we were keeping everybody safe. So I think that's important, is that your team gets that message across to people, not only in their words, but in their actions too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Al, we didn't relaunch our medical fitness programs except for our Parkinson's program right now. And we're looking to do that later in the fourth quarter. One of the things that we did do, and we offered it free of charge to the community and to our members and to our freezes, was the immunity. It was a 4-week immunity virtual program for 4 weeks that was developed through Healthy Care, and our registered dietitians set that up. And we would offer classes every month, rolling admission. And each month we'd have about 90 to 120 people in that program. It was free of charge, but it talked about immunity. And it kind of broke some of the barriers down to the people. This is before everyone had gotten their vaccine. And it was just important for them to know that, and going back to the point you just made, Darren, it was exercise is medicine, nutrition is medicine. Exercise and nutrition is what's going to keep you healthy. And so, but the people, what we also learned, Al, is that, and we'll be doing it in the fourth quarter of next year, is that some of the classes that we always felt were live, they could be virtual. And people may not want to come into the club yet, but they need our help. And we now have a virtual ability to do that. Pre-COVID, we didn't have it. So I think virtual is going to open up the market even more to us as we continue to tackle that market that we have. We'll get them into the club for exercise, but they don't have to necessarily drive to the club, be inside the club into a small meeting room if we could do that, at their home.
Yeah, and there's certainly some programs like nutrition that can be very effectively accomplished virtually in even a live environment using a tool like Zoom, which we're obviously using here. Nick, I know the Club OS from a member communication perspective does a great job in communicating to prospects and potential members, but what percentage would you say of your customers, I don't know how many locations you're in, maybe you can share, but what percentage of your customers are using the tools that you guys have to upsell services to clients? Is everyone doing it now? Because I know originally it was all about lead management, but leads can be to existing members as well.
Al, that's a great question. And that's one of the things that keeps me up at night, because the answer is not as many as should be. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things that disappoints me, and that I actively work and engaging with our customers on, and have our entire team go and trying to retrain and helping our customers think of creative ways to engage. So we have over 4,000 locations on Club OS, and I'd say about a quarter are using the kind of upsell well, right? More than that are using it to some extent. Probably about half are using it to some extent, but not well. And that's why I think like the ebook that's going to be coming out talking about how to script and what kind of cadences of outreach to have is going to be important for actually educating on the best ways to outreach. Because, especially in this post-COVID world, your members are the ones self-selecting as being comfortable coming into the location. Why try to convince someone who doesn't want to come into the gym to come into the gym? You could instead convince someone who's already there to do more with it.
And what is the cadence, by the way? Do you have some thoughts on that? Like, at what point? I mean, we all know that when a member joins, that's the time where they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, they're ready to buy anything, you have to sell them. But assuming that a member does engage with you, buys their personal training, and then falls off, what's the cadence that you should be communicating these types of things? And potentially how often, should you be reaching out to them? Once a year, more?
Yeah, so it depends on the type of club that you are, right? I think if you're an HVLP, you have a lot more flexibility to be reaching out more often, ironically, because there's kind of just less of an expectation. Whereas if you're a higher end, if you're a larger price tag, your customers expect more of a personal relationship. What we find is that as soon as someone stops using personal training, you want to continue communicating for that first month with them to try to get them back in then. You don't want to let them completely fall asleep. Now, we have to realize that life changes. The month of August, for example, you might go on a couple weeks of vacation and you're going to stop your personal training for that time. So you want to be flexible, but you want to develop that relationship with your clients. Having the ability to train your trainers to develop relationships, not just during the hour you're in front of someone or half hour while you're doing that personal training, and to continue to have a relationship with them outside. Having active Instagrams that all their clients can be following, that way there's this reminder that they exist. Those are all important aspects.
That's really interesting. And you talked about training your trainers to sell. We've all heard the story of, Ritz-Carlton, and, if you have a problem, anyone is empowered, whether you're the room service person, the maid that's cleaning the room, or the front desk, to sort of make the problem go away with some amount of money. And I'm just wondering, at your organizations, and we'll start with you, Dayton, what do you guys do in terms of training your staff, your entire staff, and communicating to your entire staff or how do you communicate them, or how do you teach them how to communicate effectively, to your members about all of these services that you provide?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we have is actually called Health Tracks University, very similar to a university where we can get on here right now. So we have 2 tracks currently so far. One focuses on the personal trainer team, and the other focuses on our membership team as well. So these workshops are anywhere between 2 and 4 days, where basically it is either an onboarding for new trainers or membership, or it's also just a refresher for anybody that's been in our company for a couple of years. And we go through everything with them: communication skills, selling techniques. We go through easy things too, like how you should speak to people, mirror and matching with people, so they understand it's all about that community. The other thing that I'm very happy with, especially in my organization, is, I always talk to people that are in other gyms and they don't have team activities or team meetings every single week, or team huddles. And I feel like that's so important. Just if it's a 5-minute, hey guys, how's everybody doing? What's going on? Any questions or anything like that? So for us, I feel like it's important just to have that communication every single day or every single week, so that your team knows what's going on. And, same thing that you were talking about with the Ritz-Carlton. I'm not at my club today. I'm actually in Florida visiting my family, but I know that my other 6 team members that are there, if anything goes wrong or anybody has a question, they can handle it because they've all been trained accordingly on what to do. And I know that I don't have to worry about my phone going off with some sort of dire emergency. So I feel like just having that open communication with your team and also trusting them is really important as well to make those right decisions. So for us, definitely Health Tracks University has been huge. And then also just meeting with your teams every day or every week, just quick touch points.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a lot of other services. I mean, everything from, I think, a preschool that's on the campus, to tennis and racket sports, to spa, traditional spa with all of the service offerings. There's a lot to teach. Do you run these as independent? I know they're all integrated to some extent, but how does a person how does a personal trainer talk about the spa or the tennis programs? Is there any sort of correlation between these programs amongst the staff?
Well, we keep all the managers together in a battle plan meeting every week. So that's an hour each week that we spend. And once a month, starting in January, our budgeting process is that once a month, we're going to have a major training program for the battle plan managers. And that's 25 people in Manasquan and 5 people in Red Bank. And then how does that get passed down? That's a little bit more difficult. And so what we'll do is, when we have tennis, we work with the USTA training. So they go through quarterly USTA trainings. When it comes to US Swimming does the training. We work with them on a quarterly basis for our swim group. Our school has completely different trainings with the Early Learning Center group. So we don't take, like our teachers will have 4 in-services a year where they'll be taking, they spend a whole day. If they may be off Martin Luther King Day for the school, but they're doing in-service. So We do in-service that way. The spa gets a lot of training, all the staff from the supplier. So they're always working on upsell, and they're always working on customer service and quality and things of that nature. But I think that one of the things that we're looking at is scaling up. There's a book, Scaling Up, and they have a series of workshops that you can do over the course of the year. And that's what we're using as our foundation for 2022. And it just takes, any battle plan meetings will also show a video. A video on a motivational type of video, how to get to the yes. But that's mostly for our middle manager and upper level managers. They come together once a week, and that's how we do it. But I will say that we have not been as good as we should have been up to this point because we've been watching every penny. And so that's our goal, is now that we're starting to be in the plus, let's reinvest back in our people because we have less people doing more things. So we have to keep them motivated and look at every process that we have and make sure that the things that we eliminated are better processes now instead of the same old process with less people. So that's really our focus, is how do we make our processes ready for the future? Because the Harvard Business Review said that you probably can get by with 60% of the people that you had prior to COVID. But be careful, you have to let them know that that's the 60% and what their role is, and then give them the tools to be able to do that. We just can't add things onto a person and not give them the why or the tools to make themselves successful.
Yeah, that's for sure. And by the way, out of curiosity for both of our operators, which of your services came back the fastest? I know you have very different services. So if you've got, and taking a school out of it, because that's such a unique thing that you guys have, Kevin, but you've got your racket sports programs, you've got your small group training programs, you've got your medical programs. Was there one that sort of hit the ground running faster than the others?
Well, ours was easy because tennis exploded.
Right.
I mean, it's not even, you can't even look at 2019. It's far above what we were pre-COVID. Probably if we had a golf course, the same thing would happen with the golf, right? So prior to COVID, golf was kind of soft and tennis was kind of soft. But I'll tell you, that switch came on. They were the first to open in New Jersey, was tennis. And that and swim, just, any youth sports, to be honest, but the adults in tennis are as equally successful, and new people coming on board but not necessarily in aquatics. But, tennis is probably the big home run.
Yeah, obviously with the space available. How about for you, Dayton?
For us, it was definitely outdoor activities as well. So for our club's boot camps, outdoor boot camps, and also outdoor yoga sessions were huge. Half of our clubs do have outdoor swimming as well. So that came back very, very quickly. And the flip side of that for us, what came back probably the slowest was one-on-one coaching. I mean, everything else took off like a flash. I think it was just being that close and around a lot of people all at once. But I mean, our nutrition took off very quickly. Physical therapy, I mean, there wasn't even a halt in physical therapy. Everybody wanted to come right back for that. But PT for us was definitely the slowest. I don't know about you, Kevin, and your clubs.
Yeah, PT small group. No, we're at 58% membership and 60% personal training membership versus 2019. Wow. So the personal training is just really very close to what membership is. So we have a long way to go on that.
Yeah, well, I believe we're about 45 at my studio, and then company wide we're about 50 or so, 52, I believe. So yeah, it's slowly coming back, but I feel the more people come in and see how great everything is going, for us at least, I feel like the more people will come back. And once you get those people in front of you, it's really hard for them to say no and go away anymore. So it's just that one-time interaction to have them come in, and hopefully they'll stay.
Got it. I always like to end these calls with something that people can walk away with and sort of implement at their clubs. And so, Nick, I'll start with you. If you think about your 4,000 customers that are out there running the Club OS, is there a particular program that you're aware of that yielded just unbelievable results, whether it's from a messaging perspective or from a value perspective? Is there one that you could sort of point to?
Yeah, sure. So we actually had a chain of clubs in the Florida area have a lot of success with a referral program to bring members in, to have the members really entice other members to come in. So what they did was they didn't just collect referrals. That's boring. No one at the time of point of sale, no one wants to give you the name of all their friends. I know my mom's phone number. That's basically it. I don't know anyone else's. And she's already got a gym membership, so she doesn't need another one. So what they did is they basically just said, hey, you come, if you bring a friend in and they show up and have a workout, you get a t-shirt. And every month we're gonna have a rotating t-shirt that they offer. And the owner rattled off, it was like $3,000 for t-shirts and supplies and design and having it professionally made and having it like an awesome, cool, edgy shirt that people would want to wear around town. And the one-time membership fees turned out to be over $4,000 per month. So $4,000 of membership fees for about $3,000 worth of supplies. And that's not even counting the recurring. So having different ways of looking at getting your community to bring more people into the community is a great way to really be increasing your membership base.
That's awesome. Thanks, Nick. Kevin, any programs that you guys have implemented? I'm gonna come to you at the end, Dayton, but any program? I love the one that you, maybe you can talk about the one that you talked about before we started the call around the enrollments. I love that. I'm gonna try and do that at my 3 clubs, but any others?
Well, that's actually been the big hit because it was all about messaging. And so we, starting in April, we were very scared to have an enrollment fee in October, November, December, January because of COVID, and we just reopened. And we said, we're not getting any benefit. We're not getting the person being indoctrinated properly into the club. So we went with that $99 enrollment fee. But what we did, Al, is we said, we still say join for $0, because with an asterisk that it's $99, but all you have to do is show up for your fit check and you get your $99 back. So that $0 was still in their mind. And then the other thing that we didn't steal it, we borrowed it and we used it from Vita Fitness, is people were tired of the 1 free month. So what we did was we gave them half of the month of April and half of the month of May. So they looked like they were getting something extra. They were getting a 0 enrollment, okay? And then instead of giving a free month, we said, we'll take 50% of your dues off in April and 50% off in May. Well, they felt that was a much longer term give back, and it seemed a lot more to them. And so sometimes your wording can have a lot to do with, with your success. Now, once again, that's when people were getting their shots. That's when people were feeling more safe in the club. So it could be that it had nothing to do with it, but we do feel that was an important part of our business. And I just think that anything else that we did that was really mind-boggling is I don't think we really did that much, Al. It was really staying focused on getting the members back and really doing a good job when they're in here. I told you mentioned earlier, we changed our whole club. So people that left in March of 2019, the Atlantic Club doesn't look anything like it did back then. We moved our fitness center to the field house, and we incorporated all 44 acres in it instead of, you've been there, it was a small, we had a big campus with a small footprint. Right. And now we used a big campus and a big footprint. So
pretty cool. Dayton, how about you? Any cool programs that you guys implemented that yielded extraordinary results?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about retention a little bit here that really helped us out. I know that we always talk about getting more and getting more people through the door, but especially for a few of our centers that are a little bit smaller, I tend to let the teams know we should be focusing on retention. It's a heck of a lot easier to retain those people in your building than it might be to go out and find new ones. So a few things that we really did for retention was we started offering monthly pop-up demos where we just let everybody know like a week or 2 before, we're going to offer a complimentary nutrition demo, complimentary small group demo. We've done picnics, like pop-up picnics and things like that, just letting people come into our facility and basically hang out with us and get something that they typically would need to pay for. We usually get anywhere between 20 and 30 people that do come to those events. So it's just a nice way for us to give back to them. The other thing that's really, really inexpensive that we've been using, and obviously our club is smaller than Kevin's, is we've been doing handwritten notes to anybody that has ever joined and bought an add-on service for one-on-one personal training. And we also do birthdays. We do just, you rock notes, and we have all of their addresses in our computer system. And we just send like 2 or 3 handwritten notes every single week to people. And when they come in the next day for their session or they come into the gym, they are just ecstatic. And they love that. I mean, as much as we talk about technology and how great that it is, I love the handwritten note. And we get all of our team members just to sign it at the bottom with all their handwriting, so they know that we all took the time to sign it. So, other than just these amazing programs that we have, sometimes it's just something really simple and old school that goes a long way and makes those people come back. So there's my 2 cents.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'll share one too. We started a program where when people check in, our software actually shows the number of times they've checked in the last 30 days. So we're HVLP clubs. And, when you pay $10 a month or $15 a month, and you've checked in 30 times or 27 times, just reminding the member that the value that they're getting for what they're paying is a real big hit. And to your point, it's something that's technology enabled, but not necessarily technology delivered. So I think a lot of times we look to technology, and Nick, I'll let you close this out. I think we look at technology to solve every problem, but I'm sure you'd agree that oftentimes technology is just an enabler, be able to communicate more effectively, understand people more effectively, et cetera.
Yeah, I have one other one for you.
Yeah, go for it.
We wanted to concentrate Milagro Spa to have a wellness component, and we have a spa and club membership. But our spa director said, how can I get more incorporated with wellness? So without having my own wellness department. So our fitness directors came up with programs, one a month, and we work with our mind body team, and we charge $20 to come to it. And you don't have to be, a member pays 20, a non-member pays 20. So we use our whole database from our spa, and we send it to our spa, and we send it to our club. And one was the summer solstice. We sold out in 8 minutes. This one, which was interesting, was bar and bubbles. And it was a bar class next Thursday night with champagne afterwards. And it's $20. But it was all sold out by the spa membership, not even our current membership. So we're getting people in from the spa for $20 to come in for a yoga class, a bar class, something that ties into wellness. And your yoga instructors and your mind body have so many great ideas. And it's not necessarily a gigantic profit maker. 20 people times $20 is $400. But I got 20 people to come in at nighttime into our club, and those classes show the best of us. So I think it's worthwhile to think about that.
So all I got to do is figure out how to build a $2 million spa and get my liquor license, and I'll be on my way. All right. Well, I'm going to open the floor up to anyone that may have any comments or questions. Feel free to use the chat or take yourself off mute and ask a question to either Dayton, Kevin, or to Nick. Otherwise, we can give a few minutes of your day back to you. I'll pause for a moment and let's see if anyone has any questions. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining the Club OS Club Industry webinar today. We run this as a monthly series, and if you'd like to learn a little bit more about it, you're going to be getting a email from the team at Club OS to join their marketing Facebook group, where we can continue the conversation. And as Nick mentioned, in short order, you should be receiving the sales script for selling PT at your club. Webinar number 3 is coming up, and it's the right way to communicate with your prospects. That's on Monday, October 25th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. We do have a question from Joe. I'll send this one to you, Kevin. Is there a good way to get physician referrals without a medical advisory board?
Yeah, but you have to have programs. If you have good programs in your club, you don't need a medical advisory board. A medical advisory board is just another excellent way of getting it. Truly, a medical advisory board is a great way to get referrals from the medical advisory board also. But you have to have programs that a doctor would feel safe and comfortable getting a referral for. So don't sell them a gym membership, sell them a program.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. All right, well, with that, again, a reminder that webinar number 3, the right way to communicate with your prospects, Monday, October 25th. Look out for some information from the team at Club OS regarding the sales scripts for selling PT at your club. And don't forget to join the Club OS Marketing Facebook group. You'll be getting an invite and some information about that. Thanks so much to Dayton and to Kevin for lending us your insights. And Nick, thanks so much for yours from Club OS. And we will see you all in a month.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.